Welcome back to What If Ash caught Latias at the start of Pokemon Journeys. This is part 3. If you're confused as to why some episodes aren't here, it's because they are character focused or just needed small tweaks. Anyways, welcome back to Pokemon Journeys. It starts again. Episode 14 remains unchanged, but Latias is in Ceres Park resting. An Iron Sentinel driving a Macrocosmos APV into the desert. At the dig site, Sentinel does his Robocop thing, shooting thugs, stunning Pokemon, even throwing them. And later, the cops guard the site while the archaeologists do their job. And Sentinel arresting the Pokemon hunters into a helicopter. Episode 15 remains unchanged, except this time Gerald is helping to clean Go's parents' office space, with Gerald being klutzy and his sisters being the mature ones. And Go finding Sheriff Carla on her patrol, and Sheriff Carla explaining her life story. To know, watch the video in the description. But to put it short, she was born with no parents, and Go realizes he took his parents for granted, and he apologizes to them when he meets them again. Episode 17 is a Go episode, so no changes, except for Sentinel chasing Team Rocket to retreating. In episode 18, it starts off all the same, except Mimi decides to join, and she gives Ash the cold shoulder as usual. The episode plays out all the same, except after Ash wins against Vizquez, she sees Ash with Latias. Latias acts protective, but Ash calms her down, and Vizquez keeps Ash's secret. Episode 19, 20, 22, and 23 remains unchanged, but in episode 19, Sentinel is chasing down Team Rocket. Episode 20, Mimi battles Ash after he defeats Oliver. Episode 22, Stella is a side character, and episode 23, Latias is also a side character. I know I skipped these, but these are character and comedy focused. Sorry about that. Ash and Go run out to see the Gigantamax Dreadnought. Soon Iron Sentinel sees the two and asks them to get to safety, but Ash says the people need help. Go says it too. Sentinel scans Ash and realizes he's the Alolan champion. Sentinel says Ash should battle the Pokemon alone. Go says he should help, and Sentinel allows it since Ash approved. Since Dynamax events are for raid battles, the episode plays out all the same, with Pikachu Gigantamaxing and beating Dreadnought. But the difference is that Latias is helping civilians whilst being invisible. Sentinel then thanks them and prints out a check as a reward. Soon, Go explains how Ash can get into the Masters 8 tournament. Meanwhile, with Team Rocket, instead of giving Cheadle to HQ, James decides to catch it. The first Ash vs Leon battle is all the same, except Iron Sentinel is watching, so he can get battle data on champion ranked trainers. After the battle, Leon senses something is off when Ash talks to Air. Ash tries to lie, but Leon sees through it. Ash confesses and asks Latias to appear. Latias appears and Leon is amazed, but Latias is protective. But Leon approaches it slowly and Latias calms down. The episode ends as Ash keeps the Dynamax band and Latias sensing the emptiness within Iron Sentinel. Now, before I continue, I just found another fun special episode idea. It came up in my mind when I was doing the script. Luckily, it was last minute. The episode starts before the events of episode 8 and after the events of episode 7. Ash and Go are doing a Pokemon job request with a truck driver. Soon, Pikachu and Latias are having Pokemon time outside, but when Pikachu calls for Latias, she wasn't there. Soon, Pikachu sees a Pokemon hunter and Pikachu gets kidnapped when he gets shot by a sleeping dart. Yes, I brought back the Pokemon with guns meme with dart guns. Soon, he wakes up at night with a shaman nudging him. The Pokemon are already breaking out, but Pikachu suggests they free all of the Pokemon. The Squirtle protests until Latias appears. Latias apologizes for being late, but Pikachu says they'll get to that later. Latias gets an idea, and the Pokemon started listening. Later, it's a montage of the Pokemon freeing each other, waking up other Pokemon so they can execute their plan, even stealing clothes and objects from the Pokemon hunters. Soon tomorrow, the Pokemon hunters hunt again, mad that the Pokemon escaped and stole all their stuff. Meanwhile, Ash and Go are looking for Latias and Pikachu, and soon Scorbunny runs away when he heard something. Soon Scorbunny finds Pikachu, but Pikachu shuts him up, asking him to be quiet. Soon Latias roars, and the Pokemon hunters aim their dart guns upward, and Pikachu said it's the signal. Soon Butterfree appear in the swamp and spray stun spore toward the hunters, making them paralyzed. Next, the Hoot Hoot use Spinnerack as gas masks and goes into the tall grass, taking the Pokemon hunters' Pokeballs. And Scorbunny realizes what they're doing and joins in. Next, a herd of Rapidash and a school of Squirtle riding on them gets into position. After the two groups have an awkward moment, it's a Rapidash stampede charging at the Pokemon hunters, and the Pokemon in the bushes attack too. The Pokemon attack the Pokemon hunters in unison. Midway, the hunters regroup and grab their dart guns, but the Pokemon are one step ahead. The Geodude use the underwear as slingshot elastics. They soon light the skewers of marshmallows on fire, and they shoot, and the Pokemon hunters retreat. Of course, the Geodude thought it would be a good idea to explode a truck. Soon, trucks explode. Ash and Go saw the explosion. The hunters run, only for the 10 hunters to be surrounded by cops. Pikachu and Scorbunny reunite with Ash and Go, and the hunters try to blame it on Pikachu, saying they led the Pokemon to hunt them. The hunters get arrested, while Officer Jenny thought it was nonsense. Ash thought there was some truth to this story, since Pikachu has led not only his Pokemon, but his friend's Pokemon too. Even Officer Jenny thought it was possible, but Latias appears and lies, saying that the Pokemon hunters were smoking, making the trucks explode. The special episode ends as the Pokemon waves goodbye to Pikachu when they drive away on a truck. The episode starts off all the same, except for a comedy note. Mimi and Gerald scream like a little girl. Soon Ash gets cursed, and Go talks about the curse. Of course, it scares Megan and Belle. Soon, it's a montage of Ash having bad luck, and when Ash crashes out, Latias throws him to the wall, asking what's going on, since she was plucking flower petals. Go asks what for, but Latias says it's classified. Ash disappears again, and Latias is forced to follow him. Go comes too. It plays out all the same, except when Gengar meets his old trainer, he curses him. Soon the trainer gets possessed, and Gengar makes the trainer insult his girlfriend, and the trainer's girlfriend runs away in tears. Soon, Sentinel appears and arrests the trainer. Ash and Go asks why the trainer is getting arrested, and Sentinel shows video proof of him stealing gum, which is theft, leaving his Gengar in the house for 3 years, which is Pokemon abuse, and leaving the Gengar to terrorize people in the house, which is obstruction of business. This is not lawful advice, please do not sue me. The trainer gets arrested and Gengar cheers. Yet, he feels nothing, and he floats back to the lab. Soon, Gengar packs up a bindle stick and walks away. Ash and Go decide to follow. Later, Gengar sits down on a bench and eats. And soon, Latias explains that Gengar feels empty. He got his revenge, yet the emptiness isn't gone. Soon, Team Rocket appears, and Meowth appears in his exosuit, and James sends out Mr. Mime. Ash and Go would have lost if it weren't for Ash convincing Gengar to help. Soon, they hear police sirens, and Team Rocket sees Sentinel on an ATV, and Team Rocket retreats in fear. Soon, Ash faints from exhaustion, and the episode ends as Ash catches Gengar. The episode starts in between episode 18 and 19, in the Grand Prix. Mimi sees her friends cheering her on, and soon the champion arrives, Anthony and Primate. Soon, Mimi reveals she used rare candies to level up her Greninja, which gives Ash nostalgia for his own Greninja. The host explains the new rules. Pokemon that can learn fighting type moves can compete. Soon it's a montage of Mimi and Anthony beating trainers, and Primate sees Ash in the crowd, happy he has come to see him compete. Anthony commands Primate to go on the defensive, and Mimi commands Greninja to spam Brick Break. And Mimi commands Greninja to spam Brick Break. And when Mimi asks Greninja to finish it, Greninja is out of stamina. Soon, Primate fights back, punching left and right, defeating Greninja, securing Anthony the victory. Anthony announces that he is retiring and is happy for all of the supporters that supported him. The crowd cheers for both Mimi and Anthony. Soon, Anthony gives Ash his primate, fulfilling his promise. Soon, Mimi is sulking until Ash walks in. Ash asks why she is giving him the cold shoulder, and Mimi refuses to tell him, until Stella snitched, saying she wanted to avenge Guzma's loss. This shocks Ash, but annoys Mimi. But Ash snaps her back to reality, saying she is doing this all wrong. She lacks the trust of her Pokemon. Mimi protests, but Ash stands firm, saying she took shortcuts to evolve Greninja. Ash says this: "If you and your Pokemon's bond is strong and bold, you do not need strength or evolution." Mimi takes in this info. She hates to admit it, but he's right, and apologizes to Zorua and Greninja. Gerald asks how he got that saying, and Ash just said he got it from a movie. The episode ends as Mimi decides to bond with the Pokemon she has and make up for all the time she couldn't have. The intro starts all the same, but when Ash felt something calling to him, Latias feels it too. Of course, Latias asks Ash to bring her to the Pokemon Center. When they arrive, Ash asks Nurse Joy to keep a secret. Nurse Joy complies and was surprised Ash had a Latias. Nurse Joy tended to Latias and realized she was heating up. Latias has a high fever. Nurse Joy asks what happened to her, and Ash said that he's been using first aid. Nurse Joy sighs, asking him to go to a Pokemon Center next time, and Latias was forced to stay in the private room. Soon Ash felt the call again, and it led him to an egg. Nurse Joy said the egg is stable, but it has passed its hatch date. Soon, Nurse Joy trusts Ash to have the egg, because if a legendary Pokemon trusts him, she can trust him. Later at night, Ash and Go decide to sleep next to Latias for emotional support. Soon, the Pokemon hatches, revealing it to be a Riolu. Soon, the Riolu attacks Ash and runs away. Latias tries to fly, but Ash tells her to stay. The story plays out all the same, Latias gets better, and the episode ends as Ash catches Riolu. The intro starts all the same, but this time, Team Rocket decide to snitch to the cops that there are Team Rocket sightings at the resort area in Sinnoh. The flashback ends with Sentinel saying the unknown caller suggested Ash and Go. Ash knows this is more than a coincidence, but decides to help anyway. Meanwhile, Team Rocket enjoy their vacation, even stuffing themselves with food by using the money they got from selling weapons. Back with Ash and Go, cops surround the resort building, and the cop told the trio that there were hostages inside. Soon, the three enter the building, and when the Matori Matrix sees Sentinel, they ready their Pokeballs, blasters, and dart guns. Team Rocket was strong, but the trio was stronger, showing their unity without technological weapons. They save the hostages, and Sentinel holds a rocket grunt by the throat, asking where Matori is. The rocket resists until Sentinel aims his wrist blasters at his knees. This horrifies Go and Ash, and the rocket grunt complied, saying she is on the roof. And Sentinel says if he's lying, he will break his legs. While they walk to the roof, Go confronts Sentinel. Why did he threaten the rocket? Sentinel said that in order to reduce crime, he must scar the criminals physically and mentally. Go keeps his cool, saying that sometimes true justice is mercy. But Sentinel said if they showed mercy, they don't need the police. But Go shook his head, saying yes, they must uphold the law, but if they don't show mercy, they will stoop to their level. Sentinel takes in this info and says he'll think about it. When they reach the roof, Sentinel shoots the chopper in the fuel hole and the chopper explodes. By chopper, I mean helicopter. Matori tries to escape, but Sentinel chases after her. And later, Ash and Go arrest the rocket grunts. Matori tries to convince Sentinel to join him, but it feels Sentinel's need for justice. Soon, Sentinel carries Matori by the throat, and when Sentinel was about to kill her, Go shouted at Sentinel, calling him by his real name, Sentai. Sentinel then remembers her old trainer, Anna. At first, he was angry, until Sentinel remembered what Anna said. You are no better than him. Sentinel remembered he didn't want to be like Crip's Donnie, so Matori gets arrested. But soon, another chopper appears and starts shooting lasers. Sentinel shields go with defense shield, but Motori got away in the chopper. Go apologizes, but Sentinel says it's okay. Go helped awaken what was lost about him, his mercy. Go smiles, Ash arrives, and Sentinel allows the two of them to call him Sentai. The episode ends as Jesse, James, and Meowth see Motori feign remorse, since Giovanni forced her to apologize. Jesse laughs in victory. That's my theory. Thank you for watching the video, and thank this guy for the Rank Battles gameplay. I'm going to try my best to finish this AU. I may not post daily about this, but I'm always active on YouTube. If you don't agree with me, feel free to tweak it. If you're confused to these characters, watch the video in the description. Maybe even make a response video about it. Just give constructive criticism and it's okay. And I just want to say thank you for watching. I'm halfway through the first season. Anyways, see you next time. Bye.